Hey there, welcome back to one more video on the Linux series. This video we are going to connect Visual Studio Code from my Windows machine to the Linux server, and we will start developing the front end directly from the VS Code, because to edit the file and then modifying it from the command prompt like the bash terminal is a little bit difficult. That's the reason why we are not making any major change on the HTML pages. So we will see how to do the connection. For that you need VS Code to be installed on your Windows machine. VS Code, I have installed VS Code here. I already have VS Code installed in my local machine, so I will directly open it. When I say local machine, I'm talking about my Windows 11. So there are so many extensions available, but for this remote connection there is one in particular that we need, which is remote SSH. It is from Microsoft. So search for this extension here, remote SSH, install remote SSH and remote explorer, remote development. Actually I have installed all the four of them. After you install the extension and restart your VS Code, you should be able to see a small green color button on the left hand side. If you do not install this, you will not be seeing this button. After you install the remote SSH, you will be seeing this button, which will allow you to open a remote window, which means you can connect your VS Code to your virtual machine running anywhere. It doesn't need to be only the local host. Even the ones that we have in the server, the one that we already have set up in the cloud server in Vultr, we can also directly connect there. First we will start with connecting our application to the local host, and then we will try to the virtual machine running in our local machine, and then we will try to connect it to the cloud server. So there are so many options here. You need to choose which one suits you better. For my case, I will say connect to host. I can choose two. Either I can connect this window itself, or I can, when I say connect to host, it will open up a new window. Let us open up a new window, and it already has a configuration available. So the configuration, in case you do not have a configuration, you need to add a new SSH host. How does that work? When you select add SSH host, it will ask you to provide username at a particular website. In our case, what is the IP address here? IP address is 192.168.0.136. So I need to give root at 192.168.0.136. When you do this one, it will open up a new page, something like this, configure host, something like this, where you will be able to select and configure the values. If everything is given perfectly, like username, host, this page will be there, and all you need to do is save the page. After this is done, again come back here. You will be able to see the connection configuration at the top. Let me select this configuration, and it's asking me what is the platform. That is a Linux platform, and it's asking me to give the password. Let me give the password, and it's setting up the host, which means it's already connected, and it's again asking me for the password. It should not ask multiple times. It should work on first instance itself. Okay, it didn't work. So I've been reading this error in the output. It says that it was able to connect, and it was able to download everything. All was working fine until finally it was not able to open the tar.gs file. Tar command is not found. So basically tar version is not present there. So we need to fix this error on the server side. Let me open up my dnf install tar. And we already started initiating something, and some setup was already trying to happen. So those things need to be killed first. So let me open the command palette. From here I will say kill. Kill VS Code server on host. In case it is running, we will try to kill that. So Linux, and let me give admin the password, admin password or root password. and we should see a message that this is killed. So if it is successfully killed, and connect to host local Alma, and now it is a Linux platform, and the root password is provided. Now it is downloading the server, and it should installing the server here, and installing the server, it will now copy to the host, and everything is done. Now it is opening remote. Let's wait, and that's it. There we go. So now we have connected our Visual Studio Code to the server. So how do we know? Let me open up the terminal, control and tilde symbol, or else we can go here and say terminal. Root at localhost. This is exactly the same as this. So I can now say list, go to main folder, list. So now what I'm doing, instead of using putty or instead of using SSH terminal or any other terminal, I have connected my Visual Studio itself directly to the Linux host. Let us first go and check. Let's go to the website first. When I try to reach 192.168.0.136, it should now take me to check my IP address. It's 192.168.0.136, and it should obviously take me to the server, but for some reason it is not reaching there. Let me check. Let me check again if my ports are working and everything is listening. SS listening, TCP, UDP port and name. I could see that Nginx is listening at 80, and Nginx is listening at 80, and HTTPD is listening at 80. So both are not working. For some reason it was working before and it is not working. Well, now let me clear it. Firewall command, get zones. There are so many zones, but we need get active zones. Active zone is public. So firewall command zone is equal to public, add port 80 bar TCP, firewall command add 8080 to TCP. So now this is fine, and for some reason this is not permanent. When I restart the server, it is going off. Let me check that first. Currently this is working fine. In case if it doesn't work, all we need to do is permanent, already enabled. Okay, I will suggest giving permanent whenever you are opening up a port, and in production remove the existing port and then add permanent in case you forget to add permanent, so that even if you restart your server or reload the firewall, everything should work fine. So now we know that the ports are open and we are able to reach the sites. So this particular file, now we are going to edit it from Visual Studio Code. Where is this file present? We know that it is present in user, but anyhow we will go directly into the config file, cd etc nginx, not cd, cat etc nginx.conf. We know that this file is present in user share nginx html. So we need to go there. I can either go from there, or I can open the folder from here, show local, not my local, open folder. From the remote I am going to the root folder, and I know that it is present in user share nginx html. Okay, so inside this folder, again it's asking me for the password because it has opened up a new terminal. So this new terminal is there. I test the authors. So here when I go, this folder contains an index file. This folder contains 505, 404, 50x files, 404 and everything. So this is the file which is present. I don't need this file at all. Let me select everything, remove. And in my PC, since it is I'm using it for other developments, I have already installed different packages needed for HTML, different packages needed for CSS, and all those things I have already installed. If I want to type HTML5, it will directly open up HTML template for me. Here I will say the title is Nginx server. Now just pay attention to the test page. Title is called as test page, right? Now I am calling it as Nginx server. Body I will say this is a test. Let me save the file. Go back here. Press Ctrl F5. This is a test. And title is Nginx server. Now I can directly start building up the application from VS Code, and it will be reflected on my server. I don't need to go to the terminals and use very difficult methods of updating my website. For instance, let's say we want to change the background of our website, or change the color of this one. In case you know CSS, you can directly start with that. Let's call it as H1 and say Nginx, and then we will write a paragraph. Say this is a test server. Save, refresh. Okay, now let's change the color here, or we can set up in the header itself we can set up inbuilt script and say style h1. I will say for h1 color is red. Save. Sorry, it's background color, and it doesn't carry this colon. It's just that background color. Fresh. It's not background color, of course. Let's say background color is light blue and color is red. Then background color is light blue, color is red. I don't need red. I will say crimson. So then I can say font size is let's start with 30 pixels. It's less, so 60 pixels. If I want to change the font and I need to choose something from why do we need to call it as Nginx? We call it as mouse events. And in case you need to apply some fonts, all you need to do is just download the fonts, Google Fonts selection. Let's choose this Roboto font, and all I need is the link here. Let me copy it. There we go, and I have connected the font links there. And to use the font, I need to say font family is this, and here I will say font family is Sophia Sans. I remember that I chose Roboto. Maybe I already chose Sophia Sans. I don't remember. Okay, let's save this. Refresh. The font is now changed. So and then you keep on building your Vue.js application or React.js application, whatever you want, directly from your VS Code without having to go through all the difficulty of the terminal. So that's how you connect your VS Code to Linux. In case you are following this video from the beginning of the series, you should be aware that we already have cloud server setup on Vultr, and Alma Linux version is already running there. We have also set up MySQL database there, and we have also set up Nginx reverse proxy with multiple websites, and one of our domain from GoDaddy is also connected there. So you don't have to worry about all those things to understand what we are going to discuss shortly. But the key thing is we have a cloud server, not only the local virtual machine. So the local virtual machine, the IP address is this. For the cloud server, for my case, the cloud server IP address is this. In your case, whatever IP address you received from your cloud service provider will be your IP address. And obviously, if you have followed the video from the beginning, you would have set up some virtual machine or OS there. So this is my IP address. Now I will try to connect to my cloud server. So this is not the old one. I will create a new one and say root at, this is the address where I want to connect. Now I will edit the file, open the config, and here I will give it a name and say Vultr remote Alma, and port obviously is 22, but still we will add it for a safer side. Then now I will go connect to a host Vultr remote Alma, and remote Alma is Linux, and it should ask me it's saying that do you want to continue. There is a fingerprint, yes. And what is the password? I will give the password, and I keep on forgetting the password for this one. Now the password is entered, and after the password is set up, it should install everything and it should open up. Now there we go. We have now, it's still editing something, and let me open up the terminal, and now we have connected. So we are now connected to, remember, not on the local computer, on the cloud server. So let me try to open this cloud server from my browser. So the IP address is something like this, and I don't even need the IP address. Why do I need? Because we already have set up the reverse proxy mouse events. When I type mouse events, it will go to the site1 test file. This is what I'm going to edit now and see whether it is working or not. So if you want to understand how this mouse events is getting targeted to a cloud solution, just take a look at one of our previous video where we are directing the domain to an IP address. And here let me check the root folder, and the file is present in cd var www, and here cd test1.site ls. And now I need to edit this particular file. I need to open this folder. So let me open the folder. I can do it in two ways. Either I can say code here. So basically code in this particular location, press enter, it will open up a new location. And now this is again connecting to the server because it's a new window, right? So it's again asking me for the password. Let me give the password. And now the location is opened. I trust the author, of course I am the author, and index file is here. Instead of doing all this, I am going to say test1 file html5, and then what happened? Let me close the other one, and let's try to keep it like this. Let's take a look, save the file, and say mouse events, and here welcome to mouse events with three things like this. Save, and let's refresh the page. Welcome to mouse events. How would it look if I place this text in the center of the screen? Let me also copy the font links that we have already did for the earlier part of the video, and I will add it just here as a link. Then we know that to give the file it should be like this. So I'll create a style, and in this style I will say font family, and not here, of course, for HTML everything inside. This is the font family that I need. So whatever I put, I need the same font family. You can adjust and modify as per your need. So now font family is modified. Now next thing is you can make some modifications here. Let me quickly make a change to the body. Let me say the body height should be 100 vertical port height. So it will be 100% of the height, and it might not be visible now, but that's fine. And next thing is I need to adjust something here. Let's say background color is equal to white smoke. Let me refresh and see the color is changed. It is very mild, but it is changed. And let me add put this welcome to inside a div box, and div, and inside this div I will add a h1, and inside the h1 let me put this one. Save. And we need to add some style to the div also. It could be for everything, or it could directly be here on the inline style also. Let me write the inline style. It's your choice how you want to do this inline style. Let me say the height, let's say the background color for instance now is pink, just for time being, to see if it is there. Okay, it is there. Let us try to bring it to the middle. To bring it to the middle, obviously we need the display to be kind of a flex box, and align items should be in the center, and flex start should be in the center. Now if I give align item center, it should come to the middle, but the text will still remain at the left side. Let me save and refresh, but text is still in the left side. So to bring that, now it should be justify. So justify content center. Obviously because we are now in the row, so each row means left side is flex start, right side is flex end. And let me refresh. It is now in the center. Let me remove the pink. I no longer need this because I used it only to as a reference, and instead I will say color is crimson. So now welcome to mouse events. So whenever someone goes to mouse events, they will see this welcome to mouse events. And we can also add a small minimal text here and say this is a sample created as a part of the Linux Bootcamp video series. It should open up in a new tab. So it opens up the series that we are doing here, and that's cool. Now there is one more problem. Again, this is now not in a proper location. Why? Because we are inside a div. Then again we need to say div also is kind of a flex, and div also has now this is a row, right? So justify content is center. No, actually, when I refreshed it, it is creating a different issue. The reason being, we cannot have row. We need to have the flex direction as, in case you have little idea about how these things work. In some of our previous videos, we have explained this in HTML series. So here I will say this is column, and I will refresh. Okay, still this doesn't work, and instead of justifying, because now it's like vertical in the sense it should justify will move the whole objects either to the top or bottom. That's how the justify works. For the left and right side, it's always align items. It's basically which direction you are going, the perpendicular direction is align. Earlier we were trying to go the horizontal direction because the flex is flow, so the align items will be for vertical movement, it is align items. Here for horizontal movement, since it is column, our align item should be center, and align items center. Now it is in the center. Let me check. That's perfect. So if someone comes to our channel website and check, this should be displayed to them. That is cool. Even then, still there is something missing. Now, what I will do, I will just remove this justify content, save it, and here the width of this one, I will say 100%. So it will occupy whatever is available. That's fine. We can focus on those things later. Maybe this is texture wrapping. That's cool. So what we have here now, we now managed to connect our VS code to the cloud server, and we started playing on the HTML page. So if you are more focused and if you know more about React.js, Vue.js, or anything for that matter, you can start building your website directly from here. Add some images here, add some images there. You can set up your static website, or you can also set up dynamic websites here. So now this is fine, and if you are watching this video and you want to try this, you can try going to mouse.events and do this. Hopefully in the future I will be building up a new website for mouse events, and these things might not be available there yet. So thank you for watching this video.